What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling incredible today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really does mean a lot to me, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy your higher self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, sun, moon, rising, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be brilliant, Cancer. Brilliant. Just brilliant, Cancer. Yeah, so let's jump into it, Cancer. I'm not even, that caught me off guard there. Let's just, you know what, your space has been cleansed. Gems, they're got it together. It's just good energy all around here, Cancer. Now, the moon went void, of course, or will be going void, of course, later today at about 8:29 in the evening, and that's going to be Central Time. And then she's going to be going from Virgo into Libra and entering Libra at about 2:46 tomorrow in the morning. So it's going to be about a 6.5 hour void, of course, roughly there, Cancer. But with the void, of course, is a time for, recharging your batteries, doing some good old meditation. Just kind of gathering yourselves. It's a time when the moon is not under the influence of any of the signs. So this is a really good time to just, kind of be with yourself, disconnect. If we've been in a lot of energies, just to find yourself again, Cancer. Because a thing, when I think about the void, of course, I know we're about to get into it already. The thing when I think about the void, of course, and I think about our energy, is, Cancerian energy tends to, our energy permeates throughout a room. And then, when we go to pull that energy back, it's like the wave goes out, and when the tide returns, it's like, what energies besides our own have been accumulated in that wave. And it's just like, cleansing yourself of that excess energy that's not yours, Cancer. And also with this energy, plans may be subject to change, and, people, plans may, could be, might fall through. People might be not unreliable, but, might be prone to not commit to things at this time. So, be mindful of that energy, Cancer. And then the moon, with it being in Libra, I personally love when the moon is in Libra. There's like a strong need to kind of relate and collaborate, and you may want to be out and about, because you're feeling more charming and more graceful. Libra energy is very, very elegant. It's that aesthetic beauty of the Empress. It's very balanced, very pleasing. I really do enjoy Libra energy. And then lastly, Cancer, the moon is in a waning gibbous phase, or a disseminating moon, and with this time, this is about shedding light on what we've been working on and kind of reflect on what's happened, seeing what went well, what didn't go well, and how we want to take all those lessons and going into the new moon phase, the next lunar cycle. And then, did I say lastly? Because lastly, for real, the decks that I'm using. This deck here is the Wandering Moon Tarot deck, Chariot Friends exclusive. And then this deck over here is the Anatomy of a Witch Oracle deck. And I'll include links for these decks and other decks that I like using down in the description box below. So definitely check that out if you're interested, Cancer. Whew, I tell you, the housekeeping is getting longer, but that's okay, because I hope it was worth the wait, Cancer. And know, too, that if you ever want to skip through at least, some of the housekeeping stuff, I have timestamps down in the box below as well. But Cancer, we have the Nine of Wands here for your general energy of the day. And with the Nine of Wands, I feel like some of us are in this place of, I feel like maybe some of us have been kind of, how do I want to put this, Cancer? maybe I feel like we've been very busy as of late. I feel like maybe some of us have been, maybe something has come up with work, maybe there's something just, I just feel like the energy is maybe have been, a little hectic maybe for some of you here. And I think that with the Nine of Wands popping up, I feel like if we're feeling in this state of, maybe we've been feeling kind of burnt out, or, maybe just like, maybe we haven't been getting as much sleep as we would like, I'm really feeling like maybe there's been some kind of disturbance, not anything, crazy, but maybe like our routine, it might be a little off than normal here. I say Cancer, when you get some time, just gather yourself. When I think sometimes with like, because the Nine of Wands is the moon in Sagittarius, and sometimes when we're just like kind of go, when we're not considering, because sometimes too I find that even when we're not feeling at our best, if we still have like obligations or things that we need to meet, we'll still maybe try to crank through the day, as opposed to maybe like reassessing some things. I think that, not that I don't think you're a good multitasker, Cancer, but I think maybe instead of trying to put so much on your plate to like in one day, maybe try to like space things out a little bit more. Kind of be like, all right, what's really pressing today? And then what can I, and tackle that stuff. And then think about, what can I do today to set up tomorrow's me for success? Once you get today's stuff tackled. But it's like maybe some of us it may be the name of the game might be kind of like focus right now. Maybe we kind of feel like we're kind of spread all over the place. Maybe your energies are been one too. Maybe you've been like, I'm just getting really just kind of all over the place here. But I really feel like, just take some time when you get a chance, or, try to make, just make some time for yourself. I feel like if we go from this place where we get, like, if we go from work, we commute to home, and then, have to get back up and do it all over again, carve out a little me time, Cancer. That I feel like that's going to be really important for you here, because right now we're getting to the cards and how we can work with the energy. That's what the next couple cards are going to be. Because now, first card here, you got the Justice card in reverse. And with that, it's kind of like what I've been talking about. If we've been just sort of like going and not been balancing out like rest and our task, then we're going to be feeling, out of whack here naturally, Cancer. And I think that it would really, Libra's card. And so maybe, Cancer, one thing to consider too, if we do have a lot on our plate, talk to some people, maybe see if we can maybe delegate some things. If you got some, like, maybe let's say you got a lot of house stuff to do, maybe see if we can call up some family members to help you out. Maybe see if you can call up some friends to help you out. Because I found that, personally for me, if my friends ever needed help, it's just like, I just want to kind of hang out and kick it with you. If we're doing stuff in between that, like, but that's just extra stuff. The main thing is just like, this could be a good thing too, Cancer. Not I'm even saying that, if you have that friend that you've been trying to want to meet up for a while, but, there's, time just hasn't been on your side. See if you can turn this into like a fun kind of project. Let's say you had some like house things that you wanted to get accomplished. Then invite them over, maybe grab some, maybe their beverage of choice, maybe cook up some food, something along those lines where we can make it fun. I remember back in the day, I used to do some painting, like house painting and stuff. And when my friends found out that I painted, they'd grab like a, thing of wine, thing of beer, and they're just like, hey, come on over, let's drink and paint. And, it was a good old time, kind of hanging with them. So, Cancer, that just might be something to consider too, working with the energies here. Ooh, Cancer. Because here's what's going on next. Some ways we can work with the energy. Cancer, these are two strong cards. It's Major Arcana City over here. Okay, now I got a bunch of thoughts. Because here we got the Chariot in reverse, which we're going to break that down here. But that came out as like a clarifier for the Strength card here. And I feel like that maybe some of us aren't utilizing our strength to the fullest here, because think about Cancerian energy is that we are good at making friends. You know, I feel like it's something that our energy, just people naturally like being around. You know, I feel like it's that combination of, you know, wanting to nurture and help people, but you know, I think that it's people just they just feel comfortable around us. You know, they feel like they can let their guard down. You know, there's that inherent trust there. And I feel like really tapping into that strength, Cancer, you know, if especially if we've been kind of running sort of ragged here, you know, see if, let's say, for example, if you have kids and you know the problem has been, you know, you got all this stuff to juggle, and then you're trying to find maybe like babysitter for your kids or something along those lines. See if there's like a friend who can maybe, you know, can maybe work this out. You know, maybe you can get it to where, and you know, it could be a win-win for them. You know, maybe someone was looking for something kind of part-time. Maybe they want to reduce hours at their job, and then this can be an opportunity for you. You know, it's just like, hey, you want to see your favorite niece, nephew, you know, godchild, whatever, and you know, maybe work something out there. Cancer, get creative, utilize your energy here, you know, because you know, the Chariot is the energy about, it's about victory and, you know, kind of keeping things moving. But here I feel like it's even more so about like really establishing that connection, you know, as far as realizing when we have the reins and when we don't. You know, the Chariot is an energy of like, you know, being aware of when it feels like our carriage is getting kind of rocky. You know, this is me driving a Chariot. When our carriage is feeling kind of rocky and we're not sure what to do, you know, I feel like we try to just like, you know, try to force this thing when it might just be like a, hey buddy, I need help kind of steering this thing. I'm hoping this is making sense, Cancer. But I'm thinking that with this energy, and we're about to get into some challenges, is just tapping into this into your energy a little bit more, as far as like, you know, reaching out into like the community for help. Because, you know, here's the thing too, Cancer, you know, where we're seen as the nurturers, and you know, where we want to do all the nurturing, who's nurturing the nurturer? You know, like, you know, at some point it's nice for someone to have our back too, Cancer. So just something to keep in mind. Now let's see what are some challenges we might come across when working with these energies here. Let's see what'll come up with that. And we got a few, Cancer, here. Oh, but good. Oh, here and then here. Okay, so Cancer, couple challenges here. So first off, we got the Ten of Moons in reverse here, Cancer. And so some challenges. I feel like maybe some of us are, I feel like maybe some of us, if we have a lot that we're working on, I think we're used to we're used to maybe being like the foundation all the time. And we're used to kind of like holding everything together here, not showing any type of weakness, or that, you know, that we might need to ask for help. But Cancer, because now, you know, we got High Priestess is back. I told you she's keeping an eye on you. But the High Priestess, you know, this is represented by the moon. And Cancer, you know, it's just like how I was talking about with the void of course time. You know, I think that sometimes, you know, you're allowed to take a break. You know, you're allowed to get tired. You know, it's okay to want to not do anything for a minute. You know, if you've been just working so hard. And I think that it's time to, when you're getting these signals of just like, you know, this is not working, I'm so exhausted, but I gotta push through. Pause, Cancer, because it's like, why do you have to? You know, why do you have to run yourself to the ground? You know, why can't you take some time to recover? Why can't you take some time, like you know, why isn't that like the dialogue here? You know, because I feel like with this energy over here, you know, we're getting in this place of where, and you know what? I feel like maybe some of us, you know, maybe we're maybe part of us are worried about asking for help because maybe we feel like it's going to be met with resistance. Maybe we're going to be, maybe some people are, maybe we're worried about, like, I don't want to say like arguments, but like maybe potential conflict that, maybe that people will look at us different as, and I'm living through you, Cancer, that might look at us different, like, oh, Cancer doesn't have it, like they, I'm not sure what that doubt is, but whatever this self-doubt is, Cancer, I feel like it's just all stuff that we're kind of creating in our head, when I think about this, the Page of Moons in reverse, because this is the Page of Moons is not just like, it's imagination, creativity, but I'm feeling this is like something we're creating a scenario in our head, we're making a situation look a lot bigger than I feel like it would be if we just reached out for help. Because, another thing too, Cancer, I think that a lot of the times when we think about approaching people for anything, if we think about how like a conversation is going to go, how many times have you done it where you build up this conversation in your head, you're thinking about how all the different ways that it could go sideways, that it can go good, what you're going to say, anticipating all this stuff, and then we get to this thing and then it goes completely different. I feel like that's what this situation is here right now. If we're struggling to reach out or, ask for help. I definitely feel like this is something where it's all in your head, Cancer, and just allow yourself to just get over that and just rip the Band-Aid off and just see. And you know what? If it is met with any sort of, any sort of like harsh emotions or anything like that, then it's just like, oh, okay, well then, well, once I get this all figured out here, that relationship might need some evaluating, especially if this is, it's, you know what I mean, Cancer. I just feel like this might be something where we're just might be, because we're so exhausted, we may be overthinking things a little bit, and it's just got us a little bit out of whack. But you know what, Cancer, even though our energy's in reverse right now, it doesn't mean that it can't be fixed, because really you got a lot of major arcana going on here. So let's see. I feel like higher self and the moon's got your back here. We're just trying to get eyes on this thing, Cancer. But let's see what are some advice that the higher self has for you here. Let's finish this thing out here. It may actually be a reasonable one here today, Cancer. Okay, I'm with it. You got the Seven of Wands in reverse here, Cancer. And some advice. I feel like it's going to be one of those things that if, like how I was thinking here, if you get those people, if we're worried about maybe asking for help, if we're worried that people may respond negatively, well then, if anything, that's a good sign, because that shows you where to channel your energy. Because it's like, especially if this is one when you've kind of been there for this person, and it's not like we do this stuff in expectations for them to have your back, but it says a lot. I feel like that's one thing where it's just like, maybe if this is something, if someone where you were like, you tend to pour a lot of your energy into, just because you love them, but then it's not being met with that same type of thing. I don't think that it's something where you necessarily have to, where we're cutting the person off. We're just maybe not pouring, just not as much, because it's just like, oh, okay, so that's the relationship that we have. Thank you for letting me know, because then you can take this energy here, feed it somewhere else, feed it to somewhere where that reciprocity is going to happen. Because again, it's not that I feel like we don't do things expecting others to do the same, but we do want to pay attention, I feel like, to if people are just using our energy, or like they're constantly asking for maybe our assistance and things like that, but then when we ask for help, that if it's not being met, that's some weirdness, Cancer, and I think that's just something to think about. So let's get into some oracle cards here, Cancer, so we can wrap this thing up here. But overall, Cancer, I feel like this is a solid reading. I just think that it's one of those things where, just kind of get out of your own way here. Allow yourself to heal. Allow to, as much as you would pour your energy into someone else, pour that energy back into yourself. From every now and again. It's important that that we're filling up all of our cups too, because how can we expect to help anyone, if we're not feeling at our best? So, wait, all right, there's one here. And let's see. All right, Cancer. So we got one of the cards we got is the memory card in reverse here. Any more? Okay, looks like that's gonna be the one we got, Cancer. So let's switch back over, because with this memory card here, I feel like this is going to, this card is actually going to kind of show when you go to ask for assistance. I feel like maybe some of us have like a certain perception of someone, but sometimes in times of need, their true colors kind of show. And that may have us, kind of feel some kind of way, when we thought, like, let's say, for example, let's say we go to reach out for a friend, and then it's not, we go to ask for help, and then it's just like, oh, sorry, I can't, blah, 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 whatever the reason might be, or even if it's met with some kind of, I'm not sure why it will be met with like resistance, or maybe like would make you feel bad. But if it gets in that realm where they're kind of lowering your vibration when you bring this stuff up, or something like that, Cancer, I feel like that it's to not let that, because sometimes that hurts, when we realize that maybe we're not as close as we thought, that maybe to a person that we thought we were. And I feel like that's okay. It's going to be one of those things that's just like, okay, we're just kind of reevaluating things. We're setting up new boundaries. It's just like, okay, well then, now I'm aware. I feel like that there may be, especially when I think about this, this with us being in the Libra energy right now. I really feel like there's going to be some realizations for some of us if we're going through this thing about who's really kind of in your soul tribe here, and who's just kind of there to just kind of use our energy, kind of siphon from us, Cancer. So I think I'm going to leave that there, Cancer. That was an interesting one. I feel like, reaching out for help sometimes can be difficult, because, I feel like we want to know that we have our, that we can support ourselves all the time. But Cancer, with that, sometimes I feel like it shows a level, you level up, I feel like, too, when you realize that, like, oh, you know what, maybe I don't have all of this, like seeing your limitations. And that's okay. It's not like this is a failure. It's just like, oh, okay, this is something to work on for next time. I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, so I got to pull back a little bit. I got to kind of reevaluate some things. That's what the waning gibbous is for right now. What did you learn from this thing, so that it doesn't happen again, so that it can go a little bit smoother, So, yeah, if you like this thing, Cancer, give it a thumbs up. And share this, because this is kind of tricky energy to work with, Cancer. So definitely share this if you know someone who might resonate with it. And then subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each day. Social media and I, we're figuring it out. That's where I'm gonna leave it. We're figuring out our relationship. And then lastly, I'm assuming you're here because you've checked your sun. But if not, check your sun, your moon, your rising. Check your chart, Cancer. And then go check out my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos there. I'm gonna be right now there. It's Monday through Thursday with different monthly themes that are done weekly, but I might be doing some restructuring here in like the next couple weeks, so I'll keep you updated on that, Cancer. Stay tuned. And all of that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let's go ahead and get your surprise card so I can get you out of here. Okay. So first up here, you got the Queen of Swords in reverse, which I like that. That's more Libra energy. I love it, more Libra energy. And then you got the Love card in reverse here. And so Cancer, this is actually really nice. With the Queen of Swords, when I think of her, she is hard. She's the type that she's she's a little more she's a little more kind of sharp with her words than, or sharp with her emotions than like the Queen of Cups. She's a little bit harsher, I guess, because she's the type, like in traditional Queen of Swords, she's the type that she has one hand out. She's cautiously optimistic. You know, she's got one hand out, but she's also got a sword in her hand. It's like, I'm willing to listen, but don't get me effed up. That's the Queen of Swords. And I feel like with the Queen of Swords popping up in reverse here right now, I feel like we're at this place, maybe if we've reached out for help and things did not go quite as expected, maybe we're at this place of right now where we're kind of doubting whom to trust with our feelings right now. You know, maybe might be feeling a little vulnerable, you know, maybe might be kind of might be feeling a little snappy, you know, a little kind of sharp here. But I feel like don't let one experience, you know, affect how you love and how you go about treating people. You know, don't let this one experience taint how you interact with other people. You know what I mean? I feel like that's one where it's like, okay, we're gonna put that over here, we're gonna evaluate that, we're gonna deal with that. But everyone else, it's like, you know, learn from this situation here, you know, maybe be a little more cautious. But I don't feel like, we don't want to be where we're letting one person's actions dictate how we operate for the rest of our relationships. You know, we have to allow those relationships a chance, you know, to build that rapport. Because if we set these conditions and, you know, these hurdles before, you know, we're trying to build a relationship, then things get kind of weird, Cancer. So, you know, this to me, I feel like is a tough energy to kind of balance here, Cancer. But it's going to be one that with time we're gonna get that understanding there. And look, because see, the High Priestess is upright, so now we just got to get ourselves back upright, Cancer. Get ourselves feeling back in, you know, get back in that chariot mode. So, all right, I think I'm going to leave that there, Cancer. So, stay safe out there, and you keep eyes on the moon. And I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.